Yeah, so the headline of this is Apple CEO succession plans are, quote, very detailed, says Tim Cook. And this revelation came in a 45-minute interview that he did with Dua Lipa on a BBC Sounds podcast called Dua Lipa at Your Service.
Is that someone that
Okay.
you know who she... Does anyone know who she is? I've never even heard of her.
Singer.
Dua Lipa?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've actually heard of her, and I'm not even, I don't exactly have my finger on the pulse of modern music. But,
You don't? I don't believe you.
I mean, if you mean by 1970, yeah, for sure. Let's see. So in this interview, Cook admitted that he does not know how long he will remain at Apple. I love it, he said. I love it. He loves working at Apple. He says, I can't envision my life without being there, so I'll be there for a while. However, when asked if there was a succession plan at Apple, he said, quote, we're a company that believes in working on succession plans, so we have a very detailed succession plans because something unpredictable can always happen. I could step off the wrong curb tomorrow. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I pray that it doesn't. And so Dua Lipa asked him, okay, well, who? Can you tell us who's in line? And you won't believe this, but Tim says, I can't say that. But I would say that my job is to prepare several people for the ability to succeed, and I really want the person to come from within Apple, the next CEO. So that's my role. That's where, that there's several for the board to pick from. So that's kind of interesting.
He's working on it.
It's kind of a wild thing to say. Like, hey, I want to pick from within, and hey, who's up for the job? Who can handle this? Who can take over this mantle? I suppose if you worked at Apple, you probably hope that that's the situation anyway. But I mean, it makes you wonder, like, who's on that list, right? Who's on Tim Cook's short list?
That's what I was thinking.
I can't imagine just kicking out the CEO and having nobody's no solid plan on who to replace.
Well, kicking out. Can't imagine him getting kicked out.
I mean, it sounds like he's there for as long as he wants to be.
He seems like he's in good shape.
Dude, the guy, he looks like he's totally shredded now.
Yeah.
He must be on that...
firing on all cylinders. I think about the people that you see on the, the Apple events. It's like, and people have talked about maybe Jeff Williams, right? COO Jeff Williams. Maybe. I mean, he seems like he's smart. But he also kind of has that Tim Cook, like, I'm not all that comfortable on camera thing going. I don't know. Both of them seem maybe a little too geeky, a little too awkward. I'd like to see somebody like Craig Federighi in there because I love
that's the dream.
He's got
there.
The swagger. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and I think it'd also be pretty awesome to have somebody who's that into software running the company. And I mean, because to be honest, I think that Apple's hardware is fantastic. I think Apple's software is good, but could use a little bit of help. Things like Siri. Put the guy who runs Siri in charge of it. I don't think so. But if you had somebody like Federighi who's deep into the software and knows how these things work, I mean, I don't know. He probably has a hell of a lot of influence there anyway. But maybe their software would be just a little bit less buggy, a little bit better. And their software is so ambitious that it is. I mean, I realize that what they're trying to do is difficult. Make all these things work together exactly how you want them to work every time. But I don't know. I would love to see him in that role because I think he's a great spokesperson, and I think that his software knowledge could be super, super helpful. Although, on the other hand, maybe if he was CEO, maybe the software would get worse because he wouldn't have as much time to focus on it. Who knows?
Man. I mean, you can always find people who are really talented in software. But I think Craig Federighi, this is so in the weeds. I can't believe we're talking about this. He's the perfect mix, right? It's like Steve Jobs says, Apple is the company where technology meets art, right? Like a blend of those two things together. Craig Federighi, he's got the tech background, but more than that, he's got the look, man. He's just got the look.
You're so superficial.
exemplifies. He is an exemplar of what Apple is going for. He is a mixture of technology and art. That hair is a piece of art. You know what I mean? I mean, guys his age never have hair like that. That's like Kevin Bacon level hair. It's so rare. And it just is long and luscious. He's got the silver fox thing going, but he also has the tech background. I think he'd be a great fit, but I would also love to see somebody from the industrial design team take the mantle and steer Apple back in the direction of super focused on products that people are going to love. The problem is I think that a lot of people from the industrial design team are probably just too weird to take that role. They're super into design. They're kind of sheepish. They don't want to be on camera. And their tastes are so refined. They borderline esoteric. And I don't know if for that reason they would be a good fit to be leading the charge. And then plus like the weird sheepishness on stage might not be something that resonates with people. And whereas Craig, it's like you see Craig, you're like, I would hang out with Craig. Like I like Craig. He knows how to play guitar, right? It's like that Bill Clinton sax moment on Arsenio Hall. You know, when you saw him playing electric guitar, you're like, he's got it all, man. He's got the look. He's got the knowledge. He's cool.
Super charismatic.
He's very charismatic, right? And even when his jokes don't work, they still kind of work. I think that's important for the keynotes. He doesn't have to feign passion like TC does on stage, where he gets that weird whisper.
He doesn't get that weird like that weird Tim Cook look on his face, like I'm straining to be excited about this.
Pretending to actually care about anything and speak about things in an emotional way. So I think he'd be a great look, he would be a great look, but he'd also be a great option for CEO. I also thought this interview was really super interesting because, I mean, first of all, TC never does stuff like this, and it's such an unusual interview. It's not with the Wall Street Journal or some other tech journalist. It's with a singer, and a singer who apparently she has a podcast. I never even heard of her. Some of you in the chat are saying you like her music, but she's also doing interviews with tech CEOs. Like that's kind of an interesting mix. But she got him to open up and be natural. And I mean, normally when we see TC, he's in his prepared robotic state, right? Like he's trying not to say the wrong thing. He doesn't want to make the stock drop. And he doesn't seem like he's actually relaxed. And for the first time, I think, ever, you can see him in his relaxed state, which is still, I would say his relaxed state is more like my nervous state. He's still a little stiff, and calculating, but he's still laughing at jokes and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see. I really can't believe we're talking about this. This is what I mean. I'm like, is this show approachable by normal people? There's no way. We're sitting here talking about such deep inside baseball. This is as inside as it gets. We're talking about who should replace the CEO of Apple and people within the company that normal people have no clue who they are and why we think they would be a good replacement for Tim Cook. Well, the other thing we didn't mention, and then we'll move on, is TC didn't say he was going to be leaving anytime soon. So he's prepping his candidate, the candidates he thinks would be good replacements, but he's going to stay there as long as he can. And he seems like he's in such good shape. I mean, the dude could probably be there for another 7 years. It wouldn't surprise me if he was there till he was 70. But what is he going to do after that? I don't know. I mean, Apple is his life. What else is TC going to do? I'd be curious to see.
Yeah, it's not like he's, limited. It doesn't get to travel and go see things. I mean,
yeah,
he's always jet setting around the world. I love seeing watching him post pictures from all the different places. It's just like he just goes, he jets into town somewhere around the world and meets with top creative people who use Apple gear. I mean, I'm not saying he's got an easy job, but there's a lot of perks.
There's definitely a lot of perks, but it is his life. He gave up his life to care for Apple, which is pretty interesting and kind of unusual. Well, maybe not that unusual in the tech space, but it's not something I would want to do. If someone could say you could be CEO of Apple, but it's all you got to do, I don't think I would take that trade. I wouldn't do it.